entered access code 913516.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Peter Lockhart.
Mr. Peter, Zia Tammami with KLSU Radio. How are you doing?
Good, Zia. How are you today?
Fine. Good to have you with us. I think Miss Susan's going to join us in a few minutes, hopefully.
You know, unfortunately, Susan's not going to be able to be on the call today, so you're stuck with me. I apologize.
No problem. That's great.
Good job for you.
Yeah, just give us a few minutes so we can. Are you on the regular phone, or you're on cell, or on the speakerphone?
You know, I'm on a cell phone, and I'm actually I'm in Europe at the moment. But I've got a Zoom recorder with me. I'm happy to record audio on my side and email it to you if that works.
Great. Well, we'll be ready to. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here with the station advisor and the engineer, so we're ready to roll. So good to have you with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Peter Lockhart, senior producer and mixing engineer for the great Erroll Garner 1963 night concert. Peter, just tell us how this came about. How did you guys put this thing together back in '63?
Well, good to be with you today. Thanks for having me. Well, you know, this record really came about as part of the Erroll Garner Jazz project that we've been working on for the last 3 or so years. And the first release was the complete concert by the sea, and then we released Ready Take One, which was a collection of studio recordings. And after Ready Take One, we knew that we wanted the next Garner record to be another live recording because, you know, he was amazing and prolific in the studio and did all kinds of incredible things, but he most loved to perform for audiences and just, you know, exuded an energy that was unlike any other performer. So we went digging through the archive and listening to all the different unreleased live recordings that we might release. And when we found the tapes from Amsterdam and listened to those, it was just like a lightning strike. We knew that was the next tape that we wanted to release.
You know, what was interesting, you know, I saw the liner notes where it was saying that Philips recording company, they released few selective, you know, selections of that album, but never been released in North America. And what's happened between that? I guess it was contractual issues, or what was it?
Well, you know, I'm not sure why it never made it to the United States, but you know, it was part of a 5-record deal that Erroll did with Philips in the early '60s, and this was the last record that he licensed to Philips, and it was released in Europe and Australia, as you said, and 8 of the songs on this concert were on that LP, but they heavily edited his introductions, and as most Erroll Garner fans know, the introductions to his songs are where Erroll really sort of stretches out and explores.
Exactly.
And so on this recording, we were able to include eight new songs that no one has ever heard before, as well as 8 songs from the LP, but with the introductions restored.
Now, I understand that basically the program for that night wasn't even detailed as far as the selection, so they were just on stage improvising and going from one song to another. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Erroll's program that was written by his manager, Martha Glazer, states, you know, first set of improvisations, second set of improvisations. So. Yeah, that wasn't it wasn't detailed, and it was a concert that was recorded starting at midnight because there was a classical performance earlier in the evening that was like 8 p.m. So you know, they struck the hall and reset it, and filled it with 2,000 fans. It was totally packed. And Erroll played from about just after midnight until around almost 3 in the morning.
What was interesting, I saw this note about Miss Susan Rosenberg, that she used the royalties from Misty, the famous composition of Erroll Garner, to fund the project. Is that this is just wonderful. I mean, Misty is like a Miles Davis kind of blue, probably the most registered and well-known, number in the jazz, sort of a highlight of the jazz history.
Yeah, certainly. And it's one of the great jazz standards of all time, and it's one of Erroll's greatest compositions. What I find really interesting is that he actually composed about 200 other songs that have been published, and hundreds more that remain unpublished. And he was just a prolific composer, and also a master arranger. And
right.
So, one of the things that we've been exploring with these new releases are his unreleased original compositions. So there's one of those on this record, and that's that Amsterdam Swing, which we believe is a song that he composed on the spot for the concert that night.
And his rhythm section, Eddie Calhoun, who played with Ahmad Jamal and Johnny Griffin, and he was from Mississippi, moving to Chicago, interesting, and always wanted to be his bass player. And then Kelly Martin on drums. He was Ruth Brown and Erskine Hawkins' drummer, so coming from a more sort of a bluesish side of the business. So this is incredible rhythm section. Yeah,
a really incredible group of guys. They were Erroll's longest running rhythm section, and because of the way that Erroll performed in terms of not only did he not tell the audience what he was going to play, but he didn't tell his band what he was going to play either. And so Eddie was right there, perched over his left shoulder, watching his hand, because he wasn't sure what song he was going to play. And then once he was sure what he was going to play, for example, Night and Day, Erroll decides to reharmonize it on the fly, and so Eddie's got to watch his hands for the new changes, which is takes a lot of skill, and these guys pull it off flawlessly.
By the way, this Mac Avenue label, I've been doing this radio show for 41 years, and dealt with a lot of small labels, big labels, but I tell you, right now, I think Mac Avenue, as far as their roster and quality of the music they put out, they definitely, in my opinion, as far as their list of the current artists, they're ahead of Blue Note. What are your thoughts on that?
We feel that way too. We feel that Mac Avenue is, one of the most, or if not the most exciting jazz label operating today, and that's why we were so excited to be working with them on this record.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
we met with them and.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was saying that
we.
Thanks,
Zia. Go for it.
Yeah, we put together a non-profitable organization about 11 years ago in Baton Rouge called the River City Jazz Master Series. And we're a bunch of professionals. They're lawyers, myself, ex-professor of LSU, music department, who's a bass player. And we never thought that we're going to last more than 2 years. Now here we are, 11th year. We brought Ahmad Jamal, McCoy Tyner, Joe Lovano, and then a whole bunch of Mac Avenue artists. And in spring of next year, 2019, we have the Monterey Jazz All-Stars, and they have 4 or 5 of top guys from, and the ladies from Mac Avenue. We've got McLaurin Sylvan, Cecile.
Yeah, and Christian Sands.
Yeah, Christian Sands, exactly.
Our co-producer and creative ambassador. Yeah, Christian is, I think he's one of the most exciting pianists alive today. He is just a phenomenal talent, and for such a young guy, he's got just an incredible future ahead. He's got some exciting projects, that he's doing on his own, aside from what he's up to with us. And it's just so much fun to watch him play and perform, but to watch his career and watch him, he's on the rise. It's pretty exciting to watch.
Last week I reviewed his brand new album, Facing Dragons, and it's out of this world. It's an incredible album.
I was lucky enough to be there for a little bit of the recording of it, and it was a really special experience. He's like as I said, he's just a phenomenal talent.
Well, tell us about his involvement with the Night Concert album, as far as bringing some sort of a insight as far as producing and remixing and all that.
Well, as a pianist and a band leader, Christian has an ability to sort of intuit Garner's style and Garner's choices,
right?
In a way that nobody else on our team can. Mm-hmm. And so when we're mixing and we're mastering, he's really able to sort of give us a sense of what was Erroll, what might have Erroll been thinking when he was doing this. He was such a dynamic player, and one of the things that we dealt with in mixing and mastering the record was trying to capture those dynamics in a way that's that's going to allow the listener to feel like they're back in the room, because he'll play as quietly as you can imagine on a tune like My Funny Valentine, and then a few bars later about as loudly as one could, and Christian's talent really is instrumental in helping to get us to navigate those sections.
What's interesting, and I saw that in the liner notes, a little bit of touch of Claude Debussy and Eric Satie in some of the performance that night, and that's incredible.
Yeah, Garner had such wide-ranging inspirations, from obviously throughout the jazz idiom, but through classical music and popular music. He was really a sponge for everything that he heard, and then he would synthesize it through his own artistry and share it with his audiences. So people never knew what they were going to get, and they got a different thing every time he sat down on the piano.
So right now, the University of Pittsburgh has like the archives or some sort of a historical information about Erroll Garner. Is that correct, or?
Yeah, so the physical archives were donated to the University of Pittsburgh in 2014. And,
okay.
And those archives consist of 3,500 reel-to-reel tapes,
wow,
tens and hundreds of thousands of documents, clothing, ephemera, all everything you can imagine. It's one of the largest archives of its kind. And then Octave Music retained the rights to his publishing catalog and master recordings, and that's why we're able to release the music that we're releasing. But yeah, all of the archives are available at the University of Pittsburgh for research. And they can go and they can see the telegrams that Martha sent to Erroll from the night of the concert, and that Erroll sent back to her later that night. It's like having some text messages. It's exciting.
And I know that Jerry Allen on that famous earlier recording in Carmel, Concert by the Sea, she was involved in that as well, and she was teaching at the University of Pittsburgh. Great talent, and so sorry to see she's gone,
Yeah, just a tremendous loss for the world, and certainly for our project in particular. Jerry was one of the founding members of the Erroll Garner Jazz Project, and sort of our North Star when it came to what we were up to, and she was instrumental in bringing the archive to the University of Pittsburgh. So we've certainly been reeling and continue to be reeling from that loss. But, I think we know that she'd want us to carry on Erroll's legacy. She did so much for his legacy that we're trying to sort of follow in her footsteps. And
that's great.
And part of that is she introduced us to Christian through her Three Pianos tribute to Erroll Garner. She did she re-envisioned his Concert by the Sea material in a three pianos format that was really just incredible. It was Jerry and Jason Moran and Christian's band the first time it was performed, it was really something special.
Well, Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing these days? What's your next project?
Well, I'd love to tell you what the next project is. We're not quite ready to talk about that yet. We're still very focused on Night Concert, but I promise that we're hard at work on the next material that you'll hear from the Garner Archive.
Great.
And the beauty of the archive and the genius of Erroll's performance, and also his manager's progressive thinking is very important to them both. That Erroll control his catalog, and so because of that, all of these tapes are not sitting in the vault of the record labels strewn all across the world. They're all in one place, and that's really there's very few artists who can say that about their archives and their catalogs. So the world will not want for more Erroll Garner recordings. I can promise you that.
Well, as you know, his performance live is something else. I mean, the studio recordings are great, but when you're doing the live sort of a spontaneous improvisation on stage, that's something else that nobody can match.
Yeah, he was really a one-of-a-kind performer, and he touched so many people with his music when he was alive, and he continues to inspire not only fans but young musicians, up-and-coming musicians who hear Erroll, we hope, and think, there's other ways to do this. There's other opportunities. There's other possibilities with these tunes. He was a real genius, and that word's thrown around a lot. But when it comes to Erroll, it couldn't be a more true statement.
By the way, I have to congratulate you guys and Mac Avenue for the liner note, for the cover of the CD. It's just magnificent. It's very sort of a classy, and the beautiful information inside, including the telegram that he sent, to his manager. Talking about wonderful show. Won't know until I hear the tapes. This is incredible stuff.
Right.
So that.
Thank you. I mean, I couldn't be happier and more grateful to Dr. Robin C.G. Kelly and to Nate Chinnon for their incredible liner notes. I mean, these are two of the most incredible writers that are doing it today. And I was able to work with a great team out of Buffalo, New York, called White Bicycle on the design. And then at the end of the day, we brought it to Mac Avenue, and they really got behind it. And that's. I just, you can't say enough about them for doing that and for helping us to create this record. So,
and I understand there are
some. Like it.
Sure, and I understand there's an LP version of that. Is that correct? Available?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a vinyl head. Vinyl is my format of choice. So when I approach these releases, I always envision them first as a vinyl record, and then we try to make a really faithful, beautiful CD version of it, but I highly recommend the vinyl to anyone that's inclined.
Well, Peter, if you get a chance, whenever you have time at your convenience, send us one of the LPs, and we're going to basically send it to LSU Library, and that's going to be part of the archive. So I think that'll be very nice to have it here at the LSU as well.
Yeah, sure thing. I'd love to. I think I have your email through Josh. So
that'll be beautiful.
Your address, and we'll get one sent out to you.
We got some sort of a special relationship with Southern University, where Professor Alvin Baptiste taught for many years, and now the institute is named after him, and he was my mentor. So through him, I got to know Branford Marsalis and all the guys who graduated under him. And then not too far from us, not more than 40 miles, is Southeastern University, and that's where Bill Evans went to school. So, we got a lot of great stuff right around, Baton Rouge, between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. There's so many activities, music-wise, all genres. So this is a wonderful, this is a wonderful opportunity to chat with you. And, thank you so much for your time, taking time to call us from Europe. Enjoy your trip. Where are you right now in Europe?
I'm in Greece.
Oh, in Greece, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm planning to go back to Geneva next spring. I went a couple of summer schools there, and my brother used to work for UN, United Nations, in Geneva. So I'm looking forward to just go back. And that's something about Europe, how much they love jazz. We take it for granted, but they.
That's.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's so true, and I think this record, especially, it's just we've been so happy and so pleased with what we've been hearing from all over Europe. It's been really fantastic. So I think the States gets it also, but for some reason Europe just seems to really love Erroll in particular.
Absolutely. Well, Peter, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah. Pleasure talking to you today, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with you again.
Absolutely.
Next time around. So.
And give my best regards to Miss Susan Rosenberg. Tell her that we miss her, and hopefully maybe next time we get her online with you as well.
I will, and I'm sorry that she had to miss it today, but I'll send her best.
Wonderful, and you have a wonderful trip back.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.